How much does it cost to sell a house? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about just that. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. I'm Kern, the singing realtor. Welcome home! And today we're talking about how much it costs to sell a house. In this video, the costs are assuming that you are hiring a real estate agent to handle the sale of your house. Each week, I create videos related to real estate in Des Moines, Iowa. So hit that little subscribe button and that little bell to get your notifications. Number one, I'll start with the obvious, and that's your mortgage. Unless you paid cash for your house or you've paid it off since, you'll have to pay that mortgage off at closing. I have to pay off my mortgage? But that's so much money. Number two, you might have a second mortgage or a home equity line of credit. This is very important. Sometimes sellers actually forget about this. Like, oh, I forgot I took out that home equity line of credit or refinanced and had a silent second or something. A silent second would be like if you got Iowa Finance Authority funding and you receive their $5,000 grant. You never have to pay on that until you sell the house, and then that $5,000 is paid back to the state of Iowa. All these items will come up in a title search, so it's best if you know about these up front when your real estate agent goes to prepare your estimate of proceeds. We don't want any surprises when the title opinion comes out and you're owing more money than you thought. Next is the broker commission. When an agent comes to your house to list the property, you and that agent will agree upon a commission. And the way it works is, at closing, you pay that commission to the listing brokerage, who has advertised during the life of your listing to the other brokerages in town that, hey, we'll pay you a certain percentage to bring us a buyer and to sell our listing. So whatever percentage that you and your agent agree upon, usually half of that goes to pay the buyer's agent. It doesn't just all go to the listing agent or me or whoever you're working with. When a listing agent is paid, we have to pay our brokerage, we have to pay Uncle Sam, we have to pay the marketing costs. Because see, as a listing agent, I pay for all the photography and I do all the marketing. That comes out of the commission that I'm paid at closing. So really, my expenses to take a listing are up front before I've made any money. Next, let's talk about the property taxes. Now this will be the most confusing part of this video. Am I going to need my blue light blocking glasses to read about this? If you're living in a different state and you're relocating to Iowa, you'll need to speak to a local real estate agent about how taxes work in your state. If you need a referral of a realtor there, I can find you a good one. Here in Iowa, taxes are paid in arrears. Arrears meaning like behind or afterward. Paid in arrears? Like what? So for example, the state of Iowa is on a fiscal year beginning July 1st through June 30th. It's not a calendar year for their budget. Their budget's on a fiscal year beginning July 1st. So when you as a taxpayer pay your taxes twice a year, you've got March payment and you've got your September payment. So your March payment pays for January through June of the previous calendar year. So March 2021 will pay for January through June of 2020 in arrears in the past. Then the September 2021 payment will pay for July through December of 2020, the previous year. Again, this is arrears. So when a seller goes to sell the property and at closing, they have to pay all the taxes that are due for while they own the property, which means they have to bring all those taxes up to date. So today is January 27th. For sellers that are closing today, March payment's not due yet, so a seller closing at this time in January is going to pay January 1st, 2020, all the way through more than a year's worth of taxes through January 27th, the day of closing. It might be a little confusing. Don't worry about it. an experienced agent can explain it again for you. But basically, this time of year and like right before the September installment, it's possible for sellers to pay more than 12 months worth of property taxes. Buyer credits. Now this is completely negotiable. Some buyers, if they pay cash, they don't need any closing costs. Other buyers, they might be a first-time home buyer, and they ask for the seller to pay some closing costs. We call those seller paid closing costs to help a buyer at the closing table with cash. It might be origination fees for the loan, prepaids, or to buy down their rate. Here in Des Moines, we have a lot of first-time home buyers. They can demonstrate rental history, but they need cash to help at closing. A lot of people don't have 20% down. And I've seen closing costs anywhere from $1,500 up to $5,000, depending on the credit worthiness of the buyer. And I've seen them at all price points, not just lower price points. I've seen higher end buyers request closing costs as well. So it's very common for a seller to pay seller paid closing costs. Why would they want to do that? Because it broadens and opens their buyer pool to more buyers who could purchase a property. If they're not willing to offer any kind of seller paid closing costs, it might be prohibitive for a buyer to have enough cash to pay all the loan costs at closing. Home warranty. What does a home warranty do, right? Basically, the home warranty covers the systems in the house, mechanicals, appliances. Sellers will offer to pay a home warranty many times because in the event that something breaks down after closing, the buyer's not going to come back to them to say, hey, fix this for me. The seller says, well, we paid for your home warranty for a year's worth. Buyer calls the home warranty comes out, they evaluate what's going wrong, and they either, like any due diligent homeowner, they either repair it or they replace it. And I've had clients get new refrigerators, have drains fixed in the shower. There's all kinds of reasons that a home warranty is useful. Myself personally, when I bought my condo, I had a water heater from 1988, which is kind of unheard of in West Des Moines because how hard the water used to be here. And I was like, I definitely need a home warranty. Well, sure enough, my home warranty was going to expire in December. I renewed it, and the following January, I was at home. I heard this loud bang and all this rush of water. Fortunately, I was home, and my hot water heater went out. Well, I called the home warranty. They sent out their service provider, and I got a new hot water for free. So sellers will pay home warranties for buyers, especially if the seller knows their mechanicals are old or their appliances are old, and instead of replacing all those brand new for a buyer, they say, here's a home warranty to cover some of those potential inspection items. Abstract updating. Iowa is one of 2 states left in the entire union that still does abstracts. What is an abstract? It's basically a history of the land, of the property. They're on legal size paper. They're usually about this thick. Condos are thicker because of all the horizontal regimens related to the HOA, Homeowners Association. And they're kind of fun to read because they go back to like when the state of Iowa was platted in the 1800s and so forth. Sometimes the legalese is like, sounds like Old English. So you'll have to have your abstract updated. There's buyer and seller costs for the abstract at closing. For the seller, it can be anywhere around, depending on who does it, $500, $600. Some places are less expensive. If you don't know where your abstract is, you need to find it. Because to replace it, to have it rebuilt from scratch, that can cost anywhere from $800 to $1,500, and it has to be done before the property can close. So if you don't know where your abstract is, find it, ask a realtor to help locate it for you, and make sure you've got it or you're going to have to rebuild it. There's always a document or deed preparation fee. Iowa is an attorney state. We still have attorneys that close our real estate deals. In Iowa, only realtors and attorneys can sell real estate. And escrow closers and attorneys are the only ones that can close a real estate transaction. So usually there's a document or a deed preparation fee, about $100, depending on the closer, and that's a seller paid cost at closing. We also have revenue stamps. basically it's a transfer tax. So it's $1.60 per 1,000. So for easy math, if the house sells for $100,000, you get a $500 discount. So that's 99.5 thousandths times $1.60. 99.5 times $1.60, which would be $159.20 paid by the seller at closing as a revenue stamp or transfer tax. Again, it's $1.60 per $1,000, subtract a $500 discount. I mentioned Iowa is a attorney state, so attorneys or escrow closers, they have a fee, usually around about $375, and a lot of times that does include the attorney's title opinion, and that's for all the back-end items, the administrative tasks associated with everything in a real estate transaction. And on my estimate of proceeds, I always put $50 for miscellaneous items, just in case the abstract cost or something related to the back-end attorney services fee ends up being higher. There are other costs that don't show up on your closing disclosure, like if you mitigate for radon gas or if you repair any inspection deficiencies that the buyer finds. And again, those are not on your closing disclosure, and that's what I mainly wanted to cover in today's video. If you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful, feel free to subscribe to the channel, give a like, make a comment below if you have a question about any of the material. If you would like a free home analysis of the value of your property, feel free to contact me. My contact information is in the description of the video below. And if you want a free copy of my 47 easy ways to make your house sell faster, check that out right there. Have a blessed day.